Thanks everyone for coming out today to Branson, Missouri, the Taney County Republican meeting. We really appreciate it. Got an exciting event lined up here for you. If you like data, stats, and all that kind of information, it's an informational meeting. We've got another big election year coming up next year, and just to start that off, you know, sometimes I get phone calls from the Taney County Republican leader thinking I'm the Central Committee. So I have to redirect them to the Central Committee. There's three big ones, and there's another one, and unfortunately it couldn't be near the MCR, but you know, the situation is all of us have our same differences, and we have differences, and we are the same. We support the Republican Party. So we're going to start off today. First of all, I'd like to do a real quick announcement, and then we'll go on. And so I'll be going second, Rhonda's first, and Stephanie's third, because I got an idea, and I don't have time to take care of it. And this is an idea I don't want to go by the wayside, or I end up seeing it happen with Taney County Democrats on it. So, does anyone know much about the Eagles over on 576 Ridge at Shadow Rock Park? So the Eagles the last couple of years have been making a nest up there. Shane, have you seen them?
The birds, yes.
Yeah, the birds.
It's a huge debate on what kind of birds are. I'm not going to get.
Okay, what kind do you think they are, Shane?
They're the.
Don't know.
I'll give it a second.
See, all I've ever seen is this. It looks like a eagle baby, but I've never seen actually the couple.
Okay.
So let me do some more research before I start.
Yeah.
We're going to do an eagle camp, dang it. Just like Dollywood and Big Bear. My wife watches them work on her second TV. Whenever she has a second, she'll look over when she hears a bird screech, like she wonders if the snake's going to eat one or something, you know. So anyway, we'll move on then. Thank you, sir, for the information. So we're going to start off today. If you'd be so kind, Brian, would you start us off with a prayer?
Yep, I'll do that. Let's pray. Father, thank you for time and opportunity to gather to discuss the issues as like-minded individuals. I ask that you guide our thoughts and our speech, help them to be honorable unto you. Bless the food and the nourishment of our bodies. We do pray for the United States of America. We pray for our president as he makes decisions that benefit the American people. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. And if you guys will stand, we got the flag up here. If you lead us in the you don't have to stand. If you lead us.
Give me time to get up this second.
I can't.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And folks, I do apologize. I'm a little off today. I've dealt with a really squirrely situation all week, and I'm still not totally recovered from it. So Rhonda, if you're about ready, I'll have you come on up. Rhonda here, she is on the Taney County Republican Central Committee. And I think she also does the role of secretary for that committee. And I'm going to turn it over to her. You can use it as a talk box.
I'll use it. So first of all, I am Rhonda Merriman. I do have the pleasure of being married to Stanley Merriman, so full disclosure. I am an elected official who serves on the Taney County Republican Central Committee. It is a committee of men and women, one man, one woman from each township in Taney County. There are 8 townships. Beaver, Big Creek,
You want me to help you?
Branson, Cedar Creek, Jasper, Oliver, Scott, and Swan. If you don't know which township you're in, it's on your voter registration card. If you don't have a voter registration card or you're not registered to vote, please do so, and Ms. Spencer will send one out to you. We did bring a map that kind of shows you where the townships are, and they are highlighted in different colors, so it's based on your address. Right now, our committee of 16 is short one member. We are missing a committee woman from Beaver. So if any of you have friends or family or good, strong Republicans who live in Beaver Township and know of a lady who would be interested in serving on the Central Committee, we'd love to have a full committee.
Can you point that out on the map, which one it is?
Beaver is this big, huge district. I believe it covers Bradleyville. That's probably the biggest town in Beaver, but it's a very large area in far eastern Taney County. Differences and similarities between the Taney County Republican Central Committee versus the Taney County Republicans and the Taney County Federated Republican Women. Again, this is an elected position. You do have to file with the county clerk every 2 years to be put onto the ballot. You may ask, well, I've never seen this position on my ballot before. It's because if only one person files to be elected, their name is not put on the ballot. Only contested races are put onto that ballot, and that's largely just to prevent cost to the county for printing a ballot when the Central Committee is the only thing on there and it's not contested. There are filing fees associated. They're very, very minimal. Stephanie can help you with those at the end of her presentation, but I believe it's $3, and that in turn does go back to the party. No, I'm sorry, that's just the filing fee. My apologies. We waive the cost of filing other than the $3 fee that the county clerk charges for paperwork. There are qualifications. You do have to qualify to be elected, and we are governed by state statute. So the laws of the state of Missouri are what tell us how we may perform and what we may do and what we may not do. That's a huge difference. We are part of a bigger Republican Party as organized by the state as well. A committee man or woman also may serve as committee man or committee woman for the congressional district, which is the 7th district, serving under Representative Burleson, Mr. Burleson. We may serve on his committee. We also serve on the legislative districts of the 155th and the 156th. So we have members who are in the voting district of the 155th who serve on Representative Overcast's legislative committee, and we have members who are under the 156th who serve on Representative Seitz' legislative committee. Those are the huge things. So some of the things that we do that the clubs or organizations may not do, we may be asked by the governor of the state to help with nominations for appointments of vacancies in offices. One of the first things that I was a part of when I became a Central Committee woman was the nomination of Ms. Tiffany Yarnell for judge for the newly formed district that we created here in Taney County. We interviewed and selected a name that we put forward to the governor at the time to appoint or not appoint for that position. That's one of our biggest things. And then just serving as the legislative and congressional committees on up to the state committees.
The caucus, and that you guys are responsible for that?
We also do put together the caucus, the presidential caucus, presidential preference caucus, every 4 years on the election of the nomination for the President of the United States, and that's another big thing that we do, and that's every 4 years. Some of the things that we also do, we're a liaison to the public. We do have regular monthly meetings. We do have regularly scheduled meetings. Those are semi-monthly, so every other month on the first Tuesday of the month, with our next meeting being scheduled for Election Day, November 4th at 6:30 p.m. We have a standing meeting the odd months of every year. Odd months, yes. Every odd month on the first Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. We also fundraise for the party. We are allowed to fundraise politically for the benefit of the Republican Party and the Republican agenda. We help to get out the vote. We recruit volunteers. We appoint party officers, and again, fill certain vacancies or nominate candidates for special elections as we are allowed by the statute and by party bylaws. I have handed out a copy of the current Republican Central Committee bylaws, as well as part of the state statutes. I always encourage people to read the full statute if you have questions, because I'm not an attorney.
So,
A very wise man once said, I'm not smart enough to answer that, get an attorney.
so like, you want to talk about like the pyramid all the way up to National Republican Convention type thing?
Yep, so the caucuses and the committee itself, the committee members, committee men and committee women of Taney County can be appointed or elected to serve on other committees. So the Taney County Republican Central Committee may be asked to serve on the 7th District Committee, and the 7th District may be asked to serve on the State of Missouri Committee. And the State of Missouri Committee sends people to the Republican National Convention. It's a stair step, and if you are a committee woman or a committee man, you may be asked to serve in those positions on those other committees as well. Does anybody have any questions?
So really, you guys are the grassroots of the Republican Party, the official party, because it goes all the way up to like Laura Trump or whatever.
Yes, that is correct.
So, someone who wants to be a committeeman has to go run in it would be a primary election.
Correct.
Every 2 years.
That is correct. Even years.
Okay, and sign up with the Clay County Clerk.
Yes. You have to file for office from, I think it's the last Tuesday of February to the last Tuesday of
Do
March.
you have to do all the ethics commission stuff, or just sign up locally?
If your campaign is large enough that you need to file with NEC, yes, you must. You have to follow, you are an elected official, and therefore you must follow all the rules and regulations and guidelines of any other elected official that pertain to your office. It is an office.
Just one.
Any other questions?
Just one.
Oh, yeah, explain how you can get appointed.
Go ahead.
So the question is, how can you get appointed? So we do have a vacancy, as I mentioned, for the Beaver Township Committee woman, and you may be appointed by the elected committee of that cycle to fill a vacancy if you fill all of the qualifications that are required, which is 1 year of residency in the district which you are serving, and you are a registered Republican voter in Emporia County.
So if I'm a guy and I decide that I want to identify as a woman, I can be appointed, although unlikely to do so with this particular group.
This is the Republican Party.
Sir, the door is just to my right. No, Kelly, we one man and one woman.
Just exploring the
Biological.
possibilities.
Ted, did you have a question?
I think it's fair to say we're working a better battle rhythm now to try to make sure the word is out, to get people to register with the clerk, to be on the ballot and not run as many appointments as we run.
Yes. Our goal is to have people want to serve on this elected committee by registering with the county clerk filing with the county clerk to be put onto the ballot to serve. And part of our efforts include outreach to the community with an ice cream social that we had last Flag Day, which happens to also be President Trump's birthday. We like that. We're in the planning process of some sort of a community outreach in March. We are also looking at doing our Liberty Rally again in June of 2026, which is, as Stanley said, a pretty good election year for the midterms. And then Shane, you had a question?
Yeah, so I'm just reading through the bylaws here, and the purpose, like section 4, is that just primary elections and general elections, or does that also consist of municipal elections?
So municipal elections are nonpartisan elections, and therefore, we do not support any specific candidate for a municipal election. We may have meet and greets that include municipal elections, and Our recommendation as a committee is that you, the audience and the voter, ask the right questions of the people who are engaging in a municipal election, because they are undeclared. However, if you have democratic values, those values are not gonna change, and your answers to those questions are also not gonna change. And we have no objection to you coming to one of those forums and saying, are you a Republican voter, or do you prefer the other party? Ask the questions. We don't ask those questions because it is a nonpartisan race.
Anybody else?
Any other questions?
Thank you, Rhonda. I'm just gonna use my big mouth for mine.
So you guys should have all got, hopefully, I don't know what, Brian, but one of you got one of our mission statements. And so you have your central committee, they're elected officials. We are a totally independent organization. We're not a part of a charter, at one time this was a packet urban club, which is nationwide. We had to follow their guidelines, we had to give a portion of our dues to them from our members and everything. And so I want to say about 15, 18 years ago, we decided to go independent. Our most recent update is, since we are that way, we've got to always watch our P's and Q's, and with an election coming up and stuff, serious things going on in our state, we decided to go ahead and become a PAC. So now we're an official political action committee as well. That way we can better help serve Republican candidates and help fight Republican issues on the Republican side. Because a PAC can do a lot more than I can do as a Taney County Republican little individual group, and I didn't want anything whatsoever for the other side to ever spot any weakness, exploit that, and cause major headaches, because if we know the MEC, you don't want to ever get on the radar and mess things up with that, or else, it could lead to something. We've never done anything illegal or immoral, but we want to just be extra careful, make sure we're reporting the MEC and everything and have that thing. So our basic platform is basically, we're Republican. If you want to believe in Republican values and our mission, please join us. And like that, we're not elected officials. If you folks will, basically, we know you're a Republican and you want to pay $25 a year, you can be an official member. I did not, unfortunately, have a chance. Like I said, I got a crazy deal happened this week to print out our bylaws. I know they're going to be on our website, and I also know the next two meetings at Forsyth and Branson, I'm going to be handing out membership certificates to paid members, and I'm also going to be handing out bylaws, a paper copy instead of just online. So you can see more into that. We do, on our bylaws, it tells how we elect officers, how board members are appointed. And speaking of which, so you got your 4 officers, which will be elected in the future. An actual election, and only paid members can vote and or run for that office. And so we got Shane as vice president, we've got Keith there as our IT officer, Rhonda as our treasurer and secretary, and of course I'm the president. So if anybody's interested in being a bigger part of this, I know some of us have been gearing up someday to take a break. So please, you can't be it, or you can't even vote on those officers if you're not a paid member. Giving that out there in advance, okay? So that is one difference with us. Another difference is our board members are advisors, and so they're appointed. Someone that's been in the Republican Party, like Jerry over here, and he's experienced the chaos out in California, and he's experienced the chaos in Missouri as a Republican. He's a great person to give us advice and lead us in certain directions, or if we're going down the wrong road, to say, hey, I've seen this happen before, Kelly, same way. He's been around here in the Republican Party since I think Abraham. You vote for Abraham Lincoln?
What?
Did you vote for Abraham Lincoln back in the day?
No, I think first one I voted for, yes, or Reagan.
And so that's really the major thing. If you look at a checkbox, paid membership, elected, private basically, besides being a PAC and having to report,
public, you know, things of that nature, and then Stephanie can explain her differences. Since you guys know a lot about our club already, do I have any questions? Yes, sir.
Unlike the Central Committee, can we promote primary candidates?
Us?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question, very good question. So, a long time ago it was decided, and I always tell people that come to ask for me for campaign help, are you sure you're ready for this? Because national elections is nothing compared to local elections. Because these are the people you're gonna be at the grocery store with, you're gonna be at your church, and if you run against them, I promise you, after your election, you'll have new friends and new enemies. I promise you. Is that not right, Brian?
True.
I said, you go through more stress probably than Trump ever has. Great. Because you're dealing with people at the local level, your friends, family, stuff like that. So no, we will support ballot issue. Like the initiative petition situation, we're gonna be on that. And we're gonna start putting out advertising. It's gonna be on the ballot in August. I think that Stephanie may talk about this, may or may not. But no, as far as the candidates themselves, we only start supporting one of those after the primary. However, if we have verifiable proof this person is not a Republican, but they just signed up as a Republican to try to get elected in a Republican county, we can't. Does that make sense? So right now, if Missy ran against you as a Republican, I'm pretty sure we would make that well known and we would support Brian in the primary.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Amen.
Okay? And then, like I said, the reason we don't is, guys, this is a small community, really. I mean, and who wants to do this and then play in favoritism, so we're just trying to be as transparent as possible and help the Republican Party in whole.
Though you do allow, of course, and I think most people know this, during the primary, the various candidates speak, which is a good thing, so.
And that's the thing we always do, and we've always supported the Central Committee, because that is the base of the Republican Party. One thing, Rhonda, I was trying to say, so you start off with your Central Committee local. That's really the grassroots, and it goes up to the Missouri 7th, and it goes up to the state, and it goes up to the national. And it goes all the way up to Laura Trump. That's, I don't know if she's still part of the National Party. So really, your Central Committee is the representative of the Republican Party in a way. So we've already tried to support them. And, you know, when it comes out, we're trying to be fair and open. When I first got a part of this club, I'm gonna be truthful, there was a gentleman who was not gonna let him speak. And he was a Republican running
That
for
seems
office.
to be a pattern.
You know, so even though his son and me were running head to head in a primary on the governor's election, I'm like, you got to. That's not even right. That's not the way I'm going to operate. If you want me to help you with this stuff, you got to be transparent, open, and let everyone have a voice. That's a Republican in the primary. And so, Brian, you got to speak, didn't you?
Sure, yep, sure did.
Yep. And one time, and I always let Ryan do the prayer, and then one time I let the other candidate say a prayer. Man, did I get a tongue lash. Anyway, but she's not a preacher. So anyway, and really that's the main difference. Any other questions? Okay, let's let Stephanie, because I know she's got a little bit of information about the upcoming elections as well.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm wearing two hats today. First, I will be Republican Women Representative. I am ending my 2-year, well, about a year and a half, service as the Vice President of Republican Women in Taney County. And I'm beginning my 2-year service of Vice President at the 7th District level. So just a few things about Republican women. As you can understand, women, so only women are allowed, but men can be associate members, but they are not allowed to vote. And the dues are $35 a year, and then associate is $5 a year. There's a Taney County chapter, and then 7th District chapter, and then Missouri, and then national. So Republican women have been around at national level since 1938. It's the largest grassroots Republican women's organization in the country. Some of the focuses are building leaders, energizing communities, and keeping America strong. We gotta educate, 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 and then act. Get out there and have some action. We like to empower women from all backgrounds in the political process and provide a forum for women to serve as leaders in the political, government, and civic arenas. Now, we held our elections last night, actually, and we have a new executive board. The president for the next 2 years is Carol Davis. The first vice president is Becky Penrod. Second vice president is Judy Stahl. The secretary is Becky Bowman.
Bowen.
Sorry?
Bowen.
Bowen, sorry, I said it wrong. I typed it right. Treasurer is Julie Abishon. So we meet the third Thursday of every month, and right now what we do is we meet 1 month in Forsyth, so that because it's such a large county, that helps people be able to attend. And then the other month we meet here at Golden Corral in Branson. Locally, there's a lot of things that we do. We have monthly meetings. This past year, we have heard from Representative Seitz, Representative Overcast. We've heard from our presiding commissioner and our Eastern commissioner. We've had some great discussions. We open it up to question and answer time afterward, it's been great. We also, getting behind the candidates is very important to Republican women. Candidates and the issues. We hold forums in Forsyth that aids us to allow, like, the Forsyth mayor, alderman, Miriam Woods, the school districts over there. It allows those candidates a place to be able to speak. And then here in Branson, of course, we do the same. We allow the mayor and alderman candidates, the school boards for Hollister, Branson, and allow those candidates to be able to speak. It is really important, and we try to get the education and notices out so that people can come. That is the time to meet candidates, to hear what they stand behind, what their policies are, and just look them in the eye and shake their hand and get to know them. Ask those questions that are really important. And then, of course, on every other year, we, in conjunction sometimes with the Taney County Republicans, sometimes with the Central Committee, we hold a big candidate forum for the August primaries. And that's usually been in the past that I'm aware of, has been at the Lions Club on Mount Branson. And we've had some pretty big forums. We invite all the candidates, the state candidates, the district candidates. We've even sent out invitations for the federal candidates. And again, they have their booths, they have their information. It's good to meet them, shake their hand, get to know them, kind of just get the feel of a person. I think that is really important. We do a lot of volunteer work. We raise money for different entities. We worked with the Crisis Center. We've worked with the Senior Center of Taney County. We voted last night to raise money for Canines for Camo. It's a group in Springfield. They have a threefold help. They take dogs from shelters. They give them to prisoners to train them to be service dogs for veterans. So that's a wonderful program. We also have what we call the Breckenridge Scholarship, and that is given to one of our young women from high school age. They write an essay. We have a process of selecting the winners. They get a scholarship, and then they have a day at the Capitol. Last year, one of the female judges at the state level welcomed them all over for a luncheon. It's a good opportunity, and it helps those ladies see what the Republican Party is about. It helps them to see what legislation and government is about. So that's also a great program. We We try to protect the integrity of the election process and just really promote the Republican values. What else? 6 o'clock, third Thursday of the month. We're excited to have the new executive board and see where that takes us. Any questions? I know, I talk too fast.
No, you covered it well.
I get
You
nervous.
endorse, oh, no, you haven't went to the next one.
Oh,
I have one on.
this hat.
Okay.
Any questions for this hat?
Well, and like I was saying earlier, we've worked well with the Taney County Federated Women as well. Like at the forum one time, we were gonna do their Facebook Live, and somebody passed out on the bed of sleep after they'd been working too much and didn't make it. And then, yeah, so, yeah. Okay.
All right. Any other questions?
I think we're ready for the county clerk.
Okay. You call for it.
Are you gonna do the MRA as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir. Should I do that
Yeah.
one first? Okay. I'm also currently, so MRA hat. So I am the president of our Taney County chapter of the Missouri Republican Assembly. And like Republican Women, we have a Taney County chapter, and then we have a 7th District chapter, and then we have the state, and then we have the national. So we very much into helping our candidates. We like to endorse our candidates.
Including in the primary.
In the primary.
Including in the primary, yes. What we do is anybody that wants an endorsement lets us know. We have them come and speak. Again, we get to know them, ask them all kinds of tough questions, and then as members, paid members, we vote on which of those Republican candidates will get our endorsement. And then we help with door knocking. We've helped Senator or Representative Burleson with door knocking. We've helped with Representative Seitz with door knocking. Aldermen, we go out and help and hand out cards and try to get, just educate and support and get behind those Republican candidates and issues. Issues, oh my goodness, are so important. Just as important as the candidates. Zip through that too fast?
Does anybody do any forums for judges?
Did
I have heard.
Did we
Do we
invite
have a
them?
problem with judges?
No.
We did, yes.
Yes.
I remember.
Hang on.
We did,
Yeah,
4
yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
Yes, we had both division judges we invited to the forums. Yes. We had Republican women that came, and didn't they come to the Lions Club also? Seems like, yes. Yes.
And then before that, we did it.
Sorry. Yes, here. They spoke here also, that's right. Yes,
Is there membership fees for the assembly?
yes, it is $25 a member. Yep,
For a year.
per year, thank you. Yes.
Just to comment on the MRA, because I'm basically a member or whatever of all of the different groups due to my position and longevity. I've been coming to this way before, years before. The MRA is more, not saying anything negative about this, not negative, the right wing of the Republican Party. As far as the endorsing of candidates and so forth, they look at who is the most conservative, who would fit the mold as not just a Republican, but, and I had to adjust my thinking because when I first ran a Republican down here, I equated with a Christian. Everybody I go to church with is a Republican because they're a Christian. We all hold the same values and this and that. Then I get to meet fellow representatives, Kansas City, St. Louis, Columbia, Springfield, and so forth. I had to adjust my ideas of what a Republican is. These are, on social media, you see people throwing others under the bus. I hate that. Calling people rhinos because they voted this way on, I expect a retired school superintendent to lean way towards public school, whereas somebody like me would enjoy our public schools, but also support school choice. So Republicans are not all of one thing, and nor should we be forced to fit all of one mold. So each of these groups has just a little different cast to them, and the MRA is probably the more conservative of the groups in supporting the conservative candidates, whereas the Taney County Republicans would be a bigger tent while still retaining Republican values. So I think it's good to be a part of all of them if you have an opportunity, and that's all I want to say.
It's good education. It's a great experience, opportunities. We, in the MRA, we have been working kind of like the Taney County Republican Club, getting out to events, trying to hand out information, just educate. Let people know who we are, let people know what our values are, and just get out there and volunteer and help in the community. Yes, Becky?
When do you meet?
We meet the second Thursday. I know.
We meet
The
at
second
Roche.
Thursday of every month, and that's at Pizza Ranch.
Okay.
Pizza Ranch.
On
Get our pizza.
76, here in Branson.
On 248, that's correct. Yes. Any other questions?
What time was it? I'm sorry.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
And like here, if you want to eat and get some dinner beforehand, just arrive a little bit early so you can pay for it and get your dinner ready. So, any other questions? All right, so we'll take off that hat and clerk. Okay, there's been a lot of questions throughout this year about elections, about how things work. In our office, we work closely with both the Republican Central Committee and the Democrat Central Committee. Something that people may not know is that the Central Committee, we can ask them if we need help with election judges. They can give us names for that. I actually statutorily have to submit a list of election judges and verification judges by a certain date to the Republican Committee and the Democrat Committee, see if they have any issues with those people serving, and if they do, who do they want to tell me to, give me some names. We also, as Rhonda was saying about candidate filing with the Republican and any party, there's a fee of $100 to the party of your choice, and then $3 filing fee. I have a list here of all the elections this next year, and it tells you when you're going to file, where you would file, and what positions are available. Going back to the central committees, that is only $3 because obviously you're filing as a Republican committee person, so there's no party fee. And because you are Republican committee candidate, once the August election happens, you don't have to go on to the November election because you've already been elected on the Republican ballot. So if anybody wants these, I can hand those out. There's, so the April elections are municipal, which means cities, fire districts, water districts, school districts. And so you would file at that municipality. And then they bring all the information to me and certify it. And then the primary election is county positions, your township positions. As discussed, there's 8 townships. You need 1 man, 1 woman from every township to complete the committee. And then in the general November election, those are the people on that ballot that were nominated on the primary ballots. So, 2 years ago we had 7 Eastern Commissioner candidates, and they were all Republicans. So in August, we decided which one of those Republican candidates we wanted to be on the November ballot. And so that's how that works. We have a lot to do. We have to be united. We've got to work together as Republicans. We have a lot going on, as we know. There are issues coming up that we've got to get out there and educate people. We need poll workers. We need just everything. And we've got work to do. Next year is a big year. We got to get it done.
how long do the poll workers, how long do they stay in their position on election day?
That's a good question. They arrive at 5 a.m. to get the polls ready to open by 6 a.m. And then you must stay there. You can take little breaks here and there, but you stay there until the polls close at 7, last person in line is voted, and everything's cleaned up. And then the supervisors bring everything to me before they leave.
And that's one
In the
Democrat,
days
one
past, they
Republican.
would have-
Yes, and in Missouri, the two main parties, Republican and Democrat, we must have equal representation at the polling places and in my office for verification team. And something that we were talking about earlier that people don't necessarily know is that, I know this is totally different subjects are, is every election, part of our certification that we do after the election is we audit. We randomly, I don't do it, but our verification team, one Republican, one Democrat, randomly pick one polling place that we audit the machine count, one polling place that we audit by hand counting all the ballots for that polling place, all the races. So just so that people maybe feel better about it, we audit every election, 2 polling places, one by the machine count and one by hand count. And we need verification people too, so if you know anybody, that doesn't take as much time. So that's also something. Anyway, I have little booklets, I have general information if anybody wants them.
I'm just gonna point out, in years past, sometimes the people didn't get out of your office till 3 or 4 a.m. It was a very, very long day, but that's not quite the case anymore.
No, the worst was presidential. It was about 1:30.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And that would have only been for like the judges, I mean, the supervisors, right? That stayed till
No.
1:30.
No.
I'm glad I didn't work at that polling station.
So, just real quick, election day, we have to process and balance our counts, our paper counts, and everybody that has voted against how many ballots we have for absentee. Presidential election was one of the first elections they started no excuse 2 weeks before the election. We ended up with 9,128 ballots absentee. That's what took us so long. Because we had to balance with everybody that voted and signed and everything with how many ballots we had. That was a lot.
There's a supervisor from each party.
Yeah.
There too, yes,
In
yes.
2022, I served as a poll judge.
You did?
And it was green first year. And there's a lady came in with a library issue on her shirt. I thought should have not been allowed to wear
No.
it.
That's electioneering, a whole nother story. But yes, electioneering is not allowed inside the polling place or 25 feet from the polling place.
Even hats.
Anything.
And back to one Democrat, one Republican, the supervisors, they ride together and bring all the
Yes.
ballots together. Never does either one of them leave the ballots. That way, there's no Republican in charge of the ballots at any time, there's no Democrat in charge of the ballots.
And I one time had one with a flat tire, so the 2 of them had to sit in the car with all the equipment, with all the ballots and everything, and we sent somebody out to get them and bring it all back, and security. Anything else? Yes?
If someone wanted to watch the process the evening of the election, can they come in and watch that process?
Anytime. Anyone is available, anytime. You may not be able to touch a ballot, but you can watch, you can ask questions. You can, if you're a verification judge, everybody is sworn in. And if you're a verification judge, you can help with that process. But anybody is welcome to come watch the pre-test, the post-test, the certification, election day, bringing ballots in at night, anything. We are open and transparent.
They can only ask questions of the judges or the supervisor.
In my office,
No,
The visitors,
yes.
observers.
Well, in the office, they can ask questions of me, or the supervisor, and yes. in the
people that
polling
that
place.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, in your office.
yes,
The people that are doing the counting, they're not to disturb them.
correct, yes, yes. Anything else?
I could share the success of last year with we wrote an instant action plan, all public safety with support of the clerk, with the threats and concerns of the large election. And I think it went pretty good. I hope it gave you good support.
It did, yes.
That was from the sheriff to the local police, to the fire districts, to the ambulance. I learned a lot about the clerk's division at that point. It was fascinating how she manages her processes. And so that put all that together from an emergency management perspective to hopefully really provide some safety and security for election judges from the time they leave to the time they get back.
And we were so very grateful. As going back to how to get involved, he approached me. He said, "Hey, how can we help you?" Well, I didn't dump a lot on him, but I was so very grateful for those meetings, and I asked him if we can continue that through the elections through 26. So it's great, and I loved having everybody involved and all the input. Some of the emergency management had concerns or thoughts that I was too busy. I didn't really think about that. So it was great. It was great. Thank you.
So all in all, it's fair to say that we are all, at all levels and on both sides, we're all very serious about election integrity in Taney County.
Yes, me, definitely. I always say to my office, you don't want to be the county that screws it up.
You might want to mention the fact that your polling machines are not ever connected.
Thank you. So yes, that's a good point too, for concern. Our election equipment that you put your ballot in is never connected to the internet. Never. Any other questions?
Thank you. And one final thing, it is very interesting. We were having a Forsyth meeting one time, and we went over and watched. Our meeting was to go over and watch Stephanie's office during the certification process. So that was one of our informational meetings. Very interesting. I'm going to move along fast.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, back to forms, because yes, that's one big part of us. We've always done a really good form. And one thing that has been an issue is unlock the MRA. Since you don't declare on the ballot, even though I've told some of the candidates you better put an elephant on your sign in municipal elections. There was a Democrat, I know he's a Democrat, he told me he's a Democrat, me and him friends, but we don't see eye to eye at all, continually ran and came. So that's where, you know, as us, the only thing we could do is put on there, in your speech, mention if you're a Republican or Democrat. If they don't do that, after all these forms, go and speak to that person one-on-one, or ask somebody, you know, and that's the way it was. Of course, he said, well, basically he was an independent, he had served under Democrat governors and Republican stuff, so, you know. But anyway, that's another different story for different day. Brian, from 156 is going to cover a lot of things.
Thank you. I'm going to be relatively brief. I think the person Stan was talking about may have been a different one, but I went to them 5 years ago, and they kept running as a Republican. And I said, well, I heard you were a Democrat. He said, young man, I have ran as a Democrat in 2 different races, and I lost both. So I decided to run as a Republican. And they told me he was an independent. I knew based on how he was governing in Branson that he was a Democrat, and we helped get him removed. So the primary thing is in municipals now, you don't have to declare, but what we have done, and my team is encouraged, and I think it's worked out, if you're running for dog catcher, you put a Republican elephant on there if you are a Republican. And that seems to have worked out very, very well. Daniel wanted me to mention, he misses being here, but Brad Hudson is going to be having an event Thursday, October 23rd at the Branson Hollister Lions Club. It's from 5:30 until 8. It is a fundraiser for Senator Hudson. As you know, it takes a lot of money. I think he spent $250,000 to win that race, and his opponent outspent him by 4 times that amount and raised almost $1 million. So it's not cheap to run for Senate. Brad has 7 different counties. So we're welcoming people to be there. I've set it up with the Lions Club. I'll open it up. that for the first 100 people, and I know this will get the Baptists and your Methodists maybe too, free hamburgers and hot dogs, chips and soda. So if you come, it's not going to be one of my big flag waving rallies with entertainment and this and that, but there will be food, and you can get to talk to Senator Hudson one-on-one, and he'll say some things that he's going to be doing next session. He is going to be, or he's been elected, the appropriations, the vice chair of the Appropriations Committee, which is the Senate version of the House's Budget Committee. It's probably the second or third most powerful position in the Capitol in the Senate. And our senator is now the vice chair of the Appropriations Committee. That's a fast track to maybe in a couple of years being the chair. He controls, and his committee controls the purse strings. So to have Brad Hudson involved in that is wonderful, but we as Republicans and just the community in general need to support him if we can. Yes?
Will you say the time of that event on the 23rd?
5:30 until 8, and Daniel made sure I had it on my phone.
And we're
5:30 till 8. Branson Hollister Lions Club. It is a fundraiser, but you can come.
What's the date?
Oh, the date.
10/23.
Guys, we're gonna,
October 23, Thursday, 5:30 till 8.
we're gonna put it on our Facebook page and email it out.
What is the
So,
suggestion?
if you get our emails, you'll get it.
Suggested minimum, since Kelly asked, suggested minimum contribution is $50. Contributions can be made up to $2,400, and I get those, and I know Brad does too, $2,400 per person. So, and then there's some other MEC requirements and so forth, but, if you can't raise money in Taney County, that's the difference between Taney County and some other places. It's kind of weird. We're an 80-20 district. I usually get 80% of the vote, and a Democrat would get 20. But in other areas of the state, including yesterday, and gearing up for this weekend, candidates are always involved in all of the parades, and they're passing out candy, and they have their big Republican signs and so forth. Here, they don't allow me to do that in the Veterans Parade. They don't allow us to do that in the Christmas Parade, and yet we're probably one of the most Republican counties in the whole state, but we can't. It's harder to get the message out with the general public because we're not involved in these community events, which is kind of a shame.
Real quick
But
question,
that's
Brian,
the way
on
it is.
that, because we've been thinking about this for the last few years.
Yes.
If we had a float, can you ride on it and wave?
For what? For
Taney
what?
County Republicans.
For what parade?
Christmas or
I'm
Veterans.
number 4 in the Veterans Parade,
And the
and
Christmas parade.
in the Christmas Parade, I would love to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying,
Guidelines of the adoration parade, service and chairman.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we can't, in the past, but some people kind of get away from that, because I've seen floats with advertisements for shows and.
No, the adoration parade.
Right.
You can be, say, Sound Theater, you'll have a banner that's carried, but
Oh, okay.
it's a Christmas decorated
Yes.
or adoration decorated float.
So I wonder if
So-
Republican groups could have a banner for Republican and then have a
Yes,
Christian
you could
float.
do the Taney County Republican Club as a banner, but it's a decorated float for Christmas.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
Well-
And if he was just Santa Claus throwing out candy, is that all right?
I'll let the beard, I got the Moses look going.
I was gonna say,
So we can do
yeah.
that.
There
Or
are
shepherd.
ways to do it, but be mission focused for that.
Yeah,
Oh, absolutely,
Absolutely.
and that's the way it should be.
I'm sure the
Yep.
Forsyth Parade, the Sherman City Parade, I don't know.
And before we did, we'd come and find out all the details to see if it's even
I
feasible.
hope you, if it's gonna.
Yeah.
Good, just to get the word out for, to be in the public eye, it's very important. And in other communities, they're way more in the public eye than we are. So, okay, Brad Hudson, that takes care of that. I'm running what's called, I was gonna read it, but we've been here long enough, Fair Utility Pricing and Sovereignty Act. I think I told you I met with the CEO of Algonquin Utilities, a Canadian company. They own Liberty Utilities. The 40% increase for most people is still coming. I met with him for 45 minutes. This is a real big deal guy. He runs the corporation in 14 different countries or whatever. So to give me 45 minutes of time was quite something. And I told him, I'm not going to mess around with what I'm telling you. I'm going to be honest. You have a huge perception problem in this area because the smart meters that they put in didn't work. They were overbilling, they were misbilling, they were double billing. He admitted all of that, and that's one of the reasons they hired him on. Rod West, he's a big gentleman, former Notre Dame football player and so forth, seems to be quite honest, but he's also honest in that he serves at the behest of their board, and their board is designed to make money for the people that are part of that utility. I'm running this legislation because I don't want to see foreign countries, foreign corporations in control of something as important as our utilities and or power grid. He asked me not to say partial future plans of that company, but 84% of their holdings and their business is done in the United States, and yet they're a Canadian company with only 16% interest there. So you can read between the lines, that's what might be coming in the future. I said, we're not doing 40%. I said, 40% is just terrible. Well, they've already laid some lines that they have to pay for. Everything costs more money. Everything costs money to purchase, labor, everything. And I said, I understand that, but 40% would drive people out of their homes and or cause apartment managers and so forth to increase rents. So he took it, he's taking what I said, perception and percentage, back to the board. And I trust that he's going to do that. And I'm hoping to get down below 19% increase. There's gonna have to be some form of increase, but not 40, that's ridiculous.
Excuse me, are they a public owned company or private?
No, I don't want to mess that one up.
Stockholder?
Yeah, stockholder, that's what it is, yeah.
Then
stockholder.
why don't they pay for that?
Well, stockholders like to make money. And
Well,
who do they make money from? They
They
make money
want
from,
a 9% return on equity, right?
right, yeah.
9% return on equity.
Right. I've met with the co-ops, I've met with 100 different individuals, higher ups with the co-ops and so forth. I'm really gonna be pushing greater access for this area for the co-ops, for White River. We did a little bit for them legislatively last session. We're gonna do some more so that they can have a level playing field, so that if a business comes in, it doesn't have to go to Liberty. Let there be a bidding process where White River could also bid. And putting the fear of God into big corporations like that on behalf of the people I'm gratified to do it on behalf of the citizens here. Okay, decline to sign. If you see people, and I was at an event the other day, Hollister Grape Festival, they had people at either end signing you up for petitions. They don't really declare exactly what they're asking you, but they just want to make Missouri a better state in dealing with initiative, petition reform, and so forth. Don't sign anything. We don't have any Republican signature gatherers out there. There's nothing that we're attempting to do to gain the signatures of the citizens. So if you see them at the post office, Country Mart, all these places, those are Democrats trying to stop things like the initiative petition reform, Amendment 3 that's coming up to replace the abortion on demand that we currently have in our Constitution. So if they're asking you to sign something, just say no. So they even tried to get me to sign 3 or 4 times. They tried to put mad. They knew who I was. I said, are you crazy? I met with Assessor Davey Wilson. He's doing a great job over there. The mood in the office is just way up. It's just, I think he's going to do a great job as assessor. I sat in with the county commissioners, and I thought they had a really interesting meeting. It seems like very smooth. People present, they say no, next person presents, they say no, next person, they say no, and then we're adjourned. None of this what we do in the Capitol is arguing back and forth and so forth. There is a No Kings rally tomorrow, don't go. They'll be protesting right out on Highway 76 again. They had about 60 people there last time, so they're shipping them in, because we don't have 60 of them here. They're shipping them in, but they'll probably have a little bit more. They're so effective, we haven't had a king in almost 300 years.
Yes.
So they're doing a great job, and the Trump store is right across, yes. It's gonna be on the other side of the sidewalk from the Trump store on Highway 76. They line up right there, which really, you know, it gives the Trump store a whole lot of money, because people sit down and they come and buy stuff. So I met with my Democrat opponent and my former opponent that I beat 80-20 at the Hollister Chamber luncheon yesterday, and I thank them for running, because it's really helping me with fundraising. If I didn't have somebody running against me, I wouldn't be getting any funding, so I can buy signs and advertisements and so forth. So I thank them for that. It's Trent something or other. I never give my opponents last names. I forget after they're done. Whatever. It's America. They have a right to run. As you guys know, this will be my last election as state representative. So, you know, I know all of the leadership. I know where all the bones are buried, or all the bodies are buried. I know how to get things done in the Capitol. And I don't have to schmooze you guys. I want to go into my last 2 years and do what you have elected me to do, which is fight for the people of Taney County, and, as I'm going to find out, fight for the people of the state. So, appreciate that. Any questions, comments? There's a whole lot I can tell you, but I'm not going to. Questions, comments, good? Good, thank you.
Thank you guys for your patience, but I appreciate it. Shane, anything? I do want to do a big shout out. Shane here, we had the Harvest Festival over in Forsyth, and he manned that booth pretty much all alone. Great success. Really enjoyed that. Handed out a lot of free water. Got to talk to a lot of people. But even what I was surprised about when we done the one down at Hollister, someone asked a question of our clerk on the clerk side: are you having problems getting Democrats still for the elections? Always.
That's good.
That's exactly why I always ask. As soon as she says, I say, well, you didn't really go up to St. Louis and swap a Democrat Republican, because you have to do that sometimes, don't you? Yeah. Since some of us Republicans is willing to work to go to Springfield, where they don't have an area or something that has enough Republicans, and Democrats down here to watch the polls. It's kind of weird. But I always ask that, and that way I know, Brian, how strong they're getting. But in Hollister, I got my first Nazi salute. Yeah. I was kind of stunned. The first time I'd ever been saluted as a Nazi, and you know, I'm just standing there and I'm smiling. I said, "Hey, would you like free water?" And he was kind of, whoa, you know. But I got him back. But here comes this guy and said, "Hey, it's a Democrat booth." And they weren't handing out free waters. I said, "It's because they gave everything away to the illegals. You want a citizen walk here to American citizen? I'll give you something free." So we had a little fun. It was a great time, great thing. All together, we got about 15 new contacts. And thanks, shout out over here to Mr. Christensen. He actually donated and supported our booth at Hollister's. Thank you very much. It's great. Any other questions? Anything else? Amen. God bless you. Have a great day.
Meetings the 7th and the 21st.
On
Friday.
So Monday the 7th.
No, first Friday.
Friday. The first Friday is the 7th next month of November. We'll be at Owaka's, and we'll be doing it there, and then we'll be the 21st here. And during, like I said, those meetings, there'll be hand copies of our bylaws where you can take them home, and they'll be on the internet and everything. And we'll be winding down for the year. So if something happened like this last email, I hit send and I didn't know it got cached and never went out. So if you don't get an email, you know we're having a meeting. Because if we're going to cancel, I will start sending emails out like on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I don't want anyone driving or not be a meeting. Okay? All right. God bless y'all. Yes, sir.
So Stanley, I very much appreciate Shane showing up to these meetings and Brian showing up to these meetings, and you know, you guys always seem to be there and be interested. But you know, we don't have anybody here from the city, and I don't know, maybe that's because they're acting like Democrats.
Right.
But how do we expand? How do we expand the reach?
Well, and we've been working on that. So of course, the first step, and I'm not going to spend all what it was. I've had a lot of relief taken off me, a big responsibility, takes a lot of my time. It's no more. We're meeting next week to finish up our web page, and we're going to start social media and try to get that way. The Facebook stuff like that, we're trying to get the word out that way. Getting people here, Gail. Here's the problem: what do you say, Ron, about 80% Republican? I think
Right.
Josh Hawley got 75% of the vote. Most people here know they're safe and just don't want to put in.
Right.
So why go out and spend their time on the Republican Party? But what they don't understand is up the road 50 miles, I won't even go down the street that I lived on when I was in college, at MSU. On Fremont Street up there, beautiful street, historic, lovely. And the last time I went up there to help a candidate, I started to go past my old house that 5 of us guys had really going to college in. They had an effigy of Trump hanging in the yard. That wouldn't happen in 20 years, 30 years ago. So we gotta beware, guys, seriously. And they're getting very much more active.
Yeah, they are.
The more active we get, the more active they get. And so, you know, that was some of the reasons why we become a PAC and things like that, is because we're gonna start getting more active and trying to get more people in. For the city officials, you're exactly right. I don't know why we never see it, except they're supposed to be neither Republican or Democrat. So, but everybody knows who each other is, so I don't know. I invite at least one of them every year, sometimes multiple times, you know. The next one's on the list is Marshall, you know.
Marshall is active with the MRA.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so, and that's a good question, Gail, but the main problem we have here recruiting people and people to get into action is because we're so solid red.
I guess that's a good problem to have.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
you guys need a brand, let's supply us, you want to put it up somewhere, take one.
Yep. And we will be posting that on our Facebook webpage, and I will be emailing it out. And I forgot I had the picture, and I think you should have the picture of it.